Okay. So we are going to do work. Is it silent work? Can you call it silent work or it can VA work? Silent work.
Have we done our statements yet?
I'm writing one now. Ah, Jay, I cannot access this platform anymore.
What
Okay,
platform?
it's coming back. Oh, cop, it was not allowing me to write the message, but I can write now. I'm willing to
And also, let's
work.
do policy training because you guys are not remembering. Like anytime I have to remind you, then you're failing, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, relax.
Jeremy, can you write the statement
Okay.
on cop? Okay, so yeah.
I think we're also on pay stub.
So now, how is pay stub is going to work with the no pay budget? Is it not the same?
Well, we can't even get bonuses or anything with pay stub.
Which pay stub are we having now? I think we are not yet done with the day. We are on token era pay stub today. We are on public searchable. Public. Okay.
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So it looks like we're on 50% pace stop.
Okay. So we make this statement of 50% pace.
I already added it to mine.
What's the desired outcome for lead taxes?
I think we want to get focused more than just lead taxes. Lead taxes not very clear.
Okay.
And the lead taxes are also the 28th. So that's 100% pay stop, it says.
Desired outcome is 100% to get off of 100% pace.
Well, no, we're on 100% pay stop for lead taxes.
Okay.
So if we need to go, wait, what's topic 2? What's that?
That's Jeremy topics.
I don't think there's such thing as a Jeremy topic.
Jeremy is working on payroll.
Okay, but then are we doing semi-silent work or silent work or what's going on? Why aren't we getting focused on the work together?
Yeah, it's silent one. Actually, supposed to put topic 3 silent work, topic 2 silent work.
Topic 1 silent work or topic
I'm
2?
trying to get focused on one topic. We are a buddy team and working together on a topic.
But it's a VA session, Jay. Last time you say if it is a VA,
Time to
Jeremy can do
stretch.
his
Please
thing
stop.
and
Stand
then you
up
can
and
focus on
stretch
VA
and
work.
move around for 30
Okay.
seconds.
So why don't you start with doing your policy training, and you can do policy training for not doing policy training from before because you guys just don't want to do policy training. So what is the policy on the VA session? Lucy,
Yes?
what is the policy on the VA session?
To have what to do.
Why?
To allow the executive work on without disturbance.
And is that always, every time, forever?
No, if you're working with the executive and ask the question, you will respond maybe if he needs some help.
No. Why do we have silent? Why do we bring self-driven responsibilities with us?
It brings salary-driven responsibilities because to avoid disturbing the VA session.
All the time, 100% of the time, forever?
No, not forever.
So
It
every
can
single
just
VA session, you start with silent work, and you start with your self-driven responsibilities always.
not always.
Okay, so do policy training. Thank you. So why don't you do correct training?
So what is the policy look like that I'm going to track?
You're saying that you always start with
I did not say
self.
I always. I did not
Okay,
state
well then, but you were saying that Jeremy's gonna start with working on payroll for the 9 degree.
Yes, that is what you are asking me, Jay. What is the now? What is the focus on the Discord? And I said Jeremy focus is payroll,
No,
and you
it's
said
not
be
focused.
clear.
It's the self-driven responsibilities.
Yes, that is his self-driven responsibility that he's going to work on.
But you are training him and telling him that he's going to be working on that right now at the beginning of the session.
I'm not training him.
Okay, so why don't you give the correct information then?
Okay, Jeremy, what
We're
is your
always
self-driven
we're all,
responsibility?
based on our actions, we're always training people on what's going on.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I don't do any training for Jeremy
Okay, so
at
then you could
all.
do policy training. You're not doing training for Jeremy because that is against policy. You are required to always be training Jeremy and help him.
Now, Jay, I think you are really confusing me. For me now, I'm totally confused. I'm lost because
Okay, well, good question.
because because when you asked, when I prepared the session, it always scales. I don't know. I already said, Jeremy, I asked the session on time. Jeremy, what are you going to work on? Martin, if you are going to be available, so that
That's
I
already,
organize the session.
that's already the incorrect information. How do we prepare for a VA session? We have self-driven responsibilities. Do you understand? So the focus of the session is working on policy continuity between payroll, and that's the topic. Then this is a normal session. Do you get it,
Then
or
Jay,
you
why
don't
should
understand?
you just say yes if you don't want this to happen? Then Jay, why should you really want this to happen if you don't want me to work on with you on VA? If you don't VA work to happen, Jeremy is not today. Jeremy is not even a problem. He has his own thing that he can focus on. It's still a
I know, but
problem.
we're the problem this time because instead of focusing on the VA session, we're focusing on Jeremy
Yes, why don't you focus on VA session?
because you're
It is
focusing on
you.
Jeremy.
No, I'm not focusing on Jeremy. Please,
Okay, so then what should we do with Jeremy?
Jeremy, can you explain yourself?
No, why don't you go to the VA session? We have VA session policies. None of this is anything new. You can just look up the policies and read them. Or if you want
VS
me to
Jeremy is
do it,
going to do his silent work and he's going to work on payroll.
that's where you need to do policy training. So for the 5th time, please do policy training and do policy training for refusing to do policy training because that is incorrect information. That is not
Can you
how a
just
VA.
then let me know the correct information?
You do not come to a VA session predetermined with the work that you're going to be doing, regardless of what needs to be done for the VA work. That is incorrect. You do not understand. When you come to a session, do you predetermine what you're working on at a VA session without any agreement? Is that how it works for you? Yes or no?
Don't give me the yes or no word. Let me do policy training. There is
Please
a
do the
lot.
policy training. I've already asked you like
I'm
5
doing
people.
policy training. Don't ask me yes or no. I'm doing policy training.
Great, and then we can verify that the policy training is
Time
correct.
for
I
breath.
don't know even what I'm doing
Get
about the
ready.
policy
Now
training.
inhale. 1,
Well, then
2,
why
It
don't you
just
ask?
3.
I
Just
Exhale.
don't know
ask the
even what I should ask, even
3.
what I'm going
Pause.
to write on
Inhale
policy
together.
training.
1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So you're just saying that you're giving up? So let's try to explain to Jeremy. So Jeremy, when you come to a VA session, do you force your own work on the executive? Yes or no?
No.
No. So what is the purpose of having a self-driven responsibility for a VA session?
So that I start with what I know.
No, that is
Then
incorrect.
so that I work on what I know. Then after
No.
I can
So
ask
so you need to just
questions.
stop thinking
I
about
can ask
yourself. You need
questions.
to stop thinking about yourself. Just stop Like if you're talking about yourself and what you are going to be doing, you're already wrong. Okay. So the reason you bring work to a session is that so the session can run smoothly so that the team can get work done together. So if we need to do silent work, we can do silent work. Because if you're not prepared for that, then that's a huge problem. But it's all if. You as an individual do not control anything. If you're thinking about yourself in the session, you've already made a huge mistake and you're breaking policy, because we are here to work together as a team and to have the session run smoothly. And that is exactly what's not happening right now, is the session is not running smoothly because you are forcing specific work upon the group instead of getting agreement on it. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
So when you come to a VA session, you don't say, I'm going to start my work with this. Absolutely not. That is against policy, 100%, 100 times over. You come to the VA session and you say, what do we have agreement on? What are we going to do as a team today? That's the policy.
Okay.
So I can't seem to find our session policies. I don't know why they're not linked, but that's what we need to find next. They should be linked. I don't know why it's not linked. Regular study team session policy verification sheet. So Lucy, do you have our policies?
Time to pause. Please stop. Close
No.
your eyes. Count 1,
Oh, here it is.
2,
Line
3,
37.
4, 5. Open your eyes.
So line 37 on the document. All right, and then here's the real-time virtual assistant policies for VA work. So we're on topic 0. We need to do policy training for topic 0. VA session policies. So let's read through them. So you're forcing the work for VA. That is incorrect. That is not the problem with you, what you're doing. That is what Jeremy's saying. So you're incorrectly training Jeremy that Jeremy should push his work at the beginning of a VA session. Does that make sense, Lucy? You're giving incorrect information to Jeremy that you're encouraging Jeremy to do exactly what you're saying. So Jeremy is the one that's breaking that policy. So Jeremy should be doing policy training for forcing his work at the beginning of a VA session. Does anyone understand, or should I just be leaving? Oh, I'm getting a silence. It's been like 3 minutes of silence.
Okay, where are those policies? I can't see them.
Okay, if you go to
Because-
topic 0, we have the VA session policies.
Okay.
And we
Let
can
me
go ahead
have
and
a look
read
at
those.
them.
We can go ahead and read those out loud right now. And then we can do policy training.
So policy, VA session must be scheduled with a clear focus to work on together.
Okay, so what's the clear focus that we're working on for today? Okay,
For me, for us,
no,
uh,
for us, it's always us. If you're thinking about yourself, you need to do policy training because that's against the whole purpose of
I'm
working as a
saying
team.
for us, Jay. You've not heard.
Okay, but you said for me. First, you said for me.
No,
So
no,
what is,
I said for us.
okay, then just say what the focus is.
So we are focusing on lead
Time to
taxes
take a break.
and
Please stop. Write
PCT
down whatever
payroll.
you were about to say
No.
and take a break for 6 minutes.
No, the focus on the taxes was the lead taxes was our focus, and we're getting hijacked by the payroll. The payroll is what's hijacking and destroying our VA session. So we're no longer doing a VA session. Okay.
So we are
Because
focused on
instead of
lead tax.
focusing on lead taxes, we're
And,
now focusing on.
and why is it that last time when I said we work together, you refused? Please do policy training as well, Jay.
For what?
Because you're confusing us. Please do policy training.
I'm trying
Because
to
last
train you.
time you treated me like garbage. I told you to we work together and you said no, that's not VA.
But we did work together last time. We did a normal session.
Please do policy training for misleading us.
For giving incorrect information on what?
Yeah, on the VA session.
Okay, so not training well on VA session information. So we're trying to do that now. So we're trying to go through
Okay,
and
let me
correct.
also do policy training
So let's read the next section here. So you're correct on the
policy.
first part. The focus of the session is the taxes. That's correct. So then let's continue to read on.
So let me do policy training first. Policy training for
Lucy, since we're all doing policy training, do you want to do your policy training too?
For what now?
So you gave incorrect information at the beginning of the session by telling Jeremy that it was okay to focus on his payroll work immediately at the beginning of the session. So you
What
gave
is it? What about the one I did? What was that for?
what you did here is not what you broke the policy. This is the policy that Jeremy broke. Jeremy was forcing his work on the VA session. You encouraged him to do that. You gave him incorrect information and encouraged him to prioritize his work at the beginning of the session. Does that make sense, Lucy?
Yeah, I'm doing it. The correct policy, of course, to have a clear self-driven responsibility.
Why?
To be able to work on.
No, let's try reading the policy. I went to all the
So
trouble to
number
explain.
two,
Why don't you
number
read it?
two policy is that VA worker must have clear self-driven work ready for the session in case and if it's needed during the session.
So can
Now
you understand that,
I was
Lucy?
writing this.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so what's the difference?
I don't
Because
know
what
the
you guys
difference.
Because what you guys did is you said that Jeremy has self-driven work that he's going to start at the beginning of the session. And that we're all going to focus on Jeremy at the beginning of the session and get Jeremy focused on his work and support him for his work. That's what we did at the beginning of the session. You see the difference?
No, that was just coming from you because there was no one saying Jeremy should we focus on Jeremy actually. I think the confusion came last time when we are with Jeremy. You see Jeremy should have something to work on. Jeremy, do you have
He's
something like
required.
that?
It's not about should. He's required to have self-driven responsibilities ready for a VA session. Otherwise, you can't even attend a VA session. Period.
So
Okay.
now we are
So
done. Then
details.
can we move
Yeah,
on
which
with
which
it?
which I did. So
We're not moving
details.
on for anything. We
This
need to
is
get
to
clarity
be
on this because
able
it's the
to
key.
work when the executive needs to focus on work that is not trainable, or we can work together on so that the worker is not waiting around. Yeah. So there. Now I think we can agree. We work together.
No, whatever is going to have agreement is going to be agreed based on what we agreed to do, right? So
Yeah.
nothing has been agreed to yet. So the whole point
Can
of
we
this,
have an agreement? Because we are now, we missed the break because we are on the same thing. We have to do the policy again for missing the break. Now just like going around and around. We don't. If there is something missing, just say this is supposed to be this and this. We move forward. What is it? We waste a lot of time. We don't want to get work done.
are you getting training, Lucy?
I'm understanding.
4 o'clock. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
So you're not getting training?
I'm getting J.
You're getting
But
what?
my issue is we are already done with the policies now. We understand detail. This is to be able to
I
work
don't
when the
agree that you
executive.
understand. I don't ever want to see this ever happen again. We don't want to ever waste an hour of our time ever. Right? This never should have happened. We should all have known the policies, and for whatever reason, we didn't. So we're trying to understand the policies and do the policy training. So the question is, are you getting training right now, Lucy, to make sure this never happens again?
Yes, I'm getting.
Okay.
You're
So
getting
step
what?
zero.
What do you get?
So we go to step 0.
I'm getting the policies that we are following and we are reading it
Yeah.
about the
That's not
VAJ.
my question. My
Yeah.
question is not whether you get the policies. My question is whether you consider this training. And the
Consider
answer,
yes.
what?
I
What did you say?
consider J. Oh my
Consider
God.
what?
Training now. You are training to follow these really time policies. What the
Okay,
hell?
so if we're
Why are you
focused
repeating things?
on training now, then let's just all relax and get focused and make sure this never happens again. Like we're in no hurry whatsoever. We don't need to be speeding through anything. We just need to be calm and composed and get our work done, which includes our training. And make sure all the questions are answered and make sure we are all on the same page so that this never happens again for you guys or any other worker, because you guys are going to go train everybody else on this so that it never happens again. Because the whole
Okay.
purpose
Good.
of doing the training is that you know how to train someone else. If you don't know how to go train someone else on this, then we're not done.
Okay, Jay. Yeah, you're right. So there on the details, Jay, what does it mean that work that is not trainable? What does it mean? Work that is not trainable?
Well, for example, let's
What
say we're
kind of?
working on asset. Let's say we're doing asset, portfolio. It could take me 3 years to train you on how to oversee asset trades and doing correct portfolio calculations for exact percentages of, trade charts and how to read charts. That could take years to train you. Why would we spend 3 years training you something that I can do in 15 minutes? It doesn't make any sense, right? The same thing would be true with the Lee taxes. I can write and file an article of incorporation in like a half an hour, whereas it might take me, 6 months to train you how to do that. Why would we spend 6 months to train you how to do that when I
Time
can
to
just
pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the goal for a VA session is that instead of me supporting you with your work, you're actually helping me do my work. That's the whole point. So for example, in this session, instead of focusing on helping me do my work, instead you came into the session wanting to do your own work and getting help for your own work. And you immediately announced that I'm going to be working on the payroll and that we're making it topic and that that'll be the focus. And then everyone said, Jeremy's working on the payroll. So literally all we did is focus on what you're going to be working on. And we never got agreement on actually focusing as a team on the VA priorities.
Okay.
So it's like the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. So the reason you have self-driven responsibilities in a VA session is why? Why do we have self-driven responsibilities for VA session? Do we have those to work on immediately at the beginning of the session, or why? Why do we have those?
You're asking me, Jay?
Either of you or Lucy, should be able to answer this question very easily because we've gone over it about 10 times already now over the last hour or half hour.
I think Lucy should go.
Okay, so we haven't done enough training for Jeremy. That's clear. So let's see if Lucy understands yet. Is Lucy here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
To
so
have
Jeremy.
something that you can work on.
Okay, we got that. But when? When do you work on it?
Of course, when you work with the executive, there is a time that he can be silent, and you should have something to focus on when
Okay,
having a.
is that going to happen every single VA session?
I said no, not every session.
Okay, so then
Sometimes
how do
you
you?
might maybe
So
decide
would
to
you?
work together. Maybe you can help. You understand some other thing we can do together. At
So
some point, we have other VA work that I cannot do. As you give an example, like I don't know token that you give an example like I don't know token. There's
yeah.
other responsibilities like daily taxes. I cannot do it, but I'm there to help. Maybe if you need something, but I need to have my own self-driven responsibility. When we are doing, work on
Time for
that, and
breath.
I will also work
Please
on
stop and get ready. Now inhale.
without
1, 2,
disturbing you.
3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
Something
Well,
that you cannot ask question.
so the key is that the purpose of the self-driven responsibility is, if possibly when needed, in a situation that it's required, right? So it's not guaranteed, and it's also not obviously not something that we push at the beginning of the session. Okay, it's something that we have ready if it's needed. Right?
Yeah.
And as Lucy just said, there's no guarantee that when you come to a VA session that you'll even work on your self-driven responsibilities. You're required to have self-driven responsibilities even to attend a VA session. If you don't have a self-driven responsibility, you're not even allowed to come to a VA session, period, because it just wastes our time. And you need to come to the VA session organized and understanding the policies. So both of you failed that. You were not prepared and ready to have the policies understood in relationship to the VA session, which is why we're doing policy training. And I failed to make sure that the training was verified before the VA session either. So now the question is, can you go train someone else on the VA session policies and being prepared for a VA session?
Yes.
So let's give it a try.
Okay. So step 0, right?
What do you mean step 0?
So,
No, we are
step
not
0.
going there.
No, I'm trying to ask you to how you would train the policies to another worker. Because
Okay.
we still don't even know that Jeremy understands them yet. Jeremy hasn't clarified his understanding of the policies yet.
By making a new worker understand, if you want to attend a VA session, first you need to have a self-driven responsibility. That means in case uh, a VA work that there's some other work that you cannot able to do together with the executive, you can now do your own work or self-driven. You have something to work on while VA executive is working on that responsibility that you don't understand. Sometimes you can also work together if you also understand the same responsibility, you can do together as well.
That's not exactly correct. The goal of the VA session is to help the executive.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever is required to help the VA work of the executive do their work is all is what's needed. Okay, so there's no guarantee that there's going to always be working together or that everyone needs to know the same responsibility, all that stuff. That is all potential situation that may or may not occur. Right? So what we're here to do is to support the executive to get their work done successfully, which is exactly what we're not doing right now, right? So instead, I'm sitting here again trying to help you guys with your work because this is a complete waste of time for me, obviously, right? I'm just trying to help you guys learn so that you have your work functional so that you can make money, ideally in the future. So let's try again. Do you want to try it with Jeremy?
So I go.
Yeah, can you understand how would you explain to someone the policies so that they would be ready for a VA session, right? We want people to understand that they have to be prepared for the VA session, but being prepared for the VA session doesn't determine what happens in the VA session. They're totally separate things because what happens in the VA session is one thing and one thing only, helping the executive get their work done successfully. So if you come into the VA session with a predetermined idea of what you're going to be work on, then you're not focusing on the goal. Do you understand?
Yep.
So for me, this is like kindergarten or even less than kindergarten. Like it would take me literally 3 seconds to understand this and move on. But for us, for whatever reason, I have to spend 50 hours training this for the 100th time. After we've trained it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I do not have any idea why you guys don't understand it. But I'm willing to sit here for an hour because I actually care about you and I want you to understand this information. Because without this, I can't work with you. There's no way impossible that I will be able to continue to work with you if you don't understand this information.
Okay. So you finished? I talk, or
Yes, I'm asking you to explain this how you would train another worker so with the correct information, so and ideally the other worker would understand it. Because otherwise, what are we here for, right?
So the correct information I'll give another worker is that when you're coming to the VS session, you should get
Time to
in
stretch.
mind that
Please stop. Stand up and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
okay. So yeah, what I should train another worker is that when you're coming to a VS session, bear in mind that you're coming to the VS session to help the executive deliver his work successfully. So wherever you're coming to the VA session, then there must be a clear focus agreed upon by the executive on maybe the work that is going to be done. So the executive must be in agreement, and the worker must bear in mind for example, the person coming to the VA session must exactly bear in mind what the executive is going to work on. Thereafter, so you must help the executive deliver the work.
Okay, so how do you do that? how do you come prepared for the session?
So first of all, you come prepared for the session by first knowing what the executive wants to work on, or maybe what is going to be done.
Okay, but that's not going to help the executive actually get the work done. So how do you make sure that the work is going to get done during the session? What do you bring to the session?
Because you say you can work in maybe 30 minutes. So me is just to come and learn.
So let's try come and learn. Yeah, see that is exactly the opposite of what we're here to be doing. We're here to get work done. So if you're just coming here to learn, you're missing the whole point. You're not helping me. If you're coming here to learn for yourself, then you're not focusing on helping the executive get their work done. You're focusing on yourself learning, and that comes with a lot of questions. Typically, I had a lot of problems with Alberto because he always wanted to work with me, not to help me get my work done. He wanted to come learn. He was like, "Oh, I'm so excited about working with Jay. I'm going to learn so much," and then he would have 100 questions, right? So that didn't help me get any work done. So Lucy, why don't you
It's
try
because
Time to
What?
pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count.
I'm saying
1,
that because
2,
Jay,
3, 4, 5.
so
Open your eyes.
Lucy, can you try to help
so it's,
Jeremy? He doesn't seem to
Yeah,
understand.
Jeremy. Yes, Jeremy is not coming to learn actually. I think even you read before the policy. Can you just go through and understand it? Internalize it. Is it about learning? You are helping the goal is to help the executive get the work done.
He
And the,
explained very clearly that you're helping the executive and you need to have a scheduled focus and all that stuff. But what did he miss? What did he not include in his
he
description?
missed the self-driven responsibility.
Yes, you completely ignored and missed the self-driven responsibility. So if you were trying to train a new worker, you would have failed 100%.
I was coming to that.
I know, but you didn't get. I kept asking you to continue,
No.
and you know.
I was coming to that actually.
Okay, but you didn't say it. So if you were training a new
Yeah,
worker and you
I
never
was
said
coming
it,
to
you
that. I
just
was
kept
coming
going.
to that.
We want the whole policy. We don't just want
It's
half.
because now I just highlighted before I wanted to say that, but I just highlighted because now because the executive knows so much and can deliver work that I can do for maybe 1
Okay,
week.
so can I ask this really
Jer-
clear? If it was me, this would take me 10 seconds to explain to a
Jeremy,
worker.
why are you taking us
You
more?
you have a clear goal of supporting the executive. You make sure you have a focus for the session. You come with self-driven responsibilities in case there is work that needs to be done in silence. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's literally 10 seconds of information, but for some reason, you guys just don't get it. And whatever reason, we're not able to explain it to new workers. I don't know why. I don't understand it. It is just very, very strange to me that this occurs at all. So let's try again.
Okay. Yeah. So after knowing exactly what we are working on with the executive, what I'm working on, or maybe the new worker is working on with the executive, and having agreement, then you must have self-driven responsibility for the session, or so that in case it's needed, or maybe if it's needed, maybe the self-driven work, if it's needed, it can you can bring it up, and whatever you don't understand, the executive will help.
No.
Time for breath.
You are just miss.
Stop and get
I
ready.
don't understand why you're mixing things,
2,
Jeremy.
3.
You are not
Exhale.
asking.
2, 3. Pause.
Let's
Inhale
define,
together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
let's define
Jeremy,
the
I'm saying that
there is
Lucy,
nothing
because it is the
you are
only time.
training, Jeremy. There is nothing executive is like training you.
Not training.
You say the executive understand if you don't understand. No.
I mean any concerns that needs to be, because we are working together, right?
no. What is the definition of a self-driven responsibility?
I work alone.
And
Yeah. So I must be perfect. I mean, I must have I must be knowledgeable on what I'm working on. Suppose I have any concern during that time, what do I do, Jay?
You don't ask. Yes.
You don't ask.
You come up with something that you understand.
If you have
I
issues,
hope you don't. I hope
you
you don't mislead. You tell me, because I don't want to be contradicted, so that next time again something say, oh no, it's not like that. Please be
yes.
very.
Now, if you have a question or concern regarding your self-driven responsibility, you do not make it up, right? Because the whole point of a self-driven responsibility is that you already know how to do it. So if something comes up, you write it down, and then you ask afterwards, or in the wrap-up, or like
Yeah.
sometimes you'll be with someone and they'll be like, oh, I have this issue. Is it okay if I ask a question? Like that would be the worst case scenario. And if I'm busy, I'll be like, no, you need to save that for later. But if it's something that's really pressing and you really have to interrupt, you could ask for permission, like, oh, is it okay to ask a quick question? Depending on the situation. Most of the time maybe it'll be like, no, like let's wait till the wrap up, or we can schedule a session afterwards, or we can talk about it on Discord afterwards, or whatever. But the whole point of a VA session is that you're not interrupting the VA work, and then you're supporting the executive to get their work done. You're not asking a bunch of questions about your work. Like 99.999% of all sessions are normal work sessions, like today. And all I do as the executive is I help you guys make money, and I get nothing. Right? And it's just me endlessly training you and endlessly supporting you so that you can do your work, and you guys never ever help me do my work. So that
Okay,
less
Jay.
than 1% of the time where we actually, heaven forbid, schedule a VA session, which is so rare already because no one ever wants to do it. We haven't had RTVA for over
Time
a
to
year.
pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Open your eyes.
Yeah. So Jay,
haven't had
when okay,
over a year.
during this
So then
session,
you have that one
when do we get
session
to
we're supposed to help.
Allow
self-driven?
Jay first.
So you have that one special session where you're trying to help the executive. At that session, you just don't do anything else. You just help the executive with their work. Like it shouldn't be that hard. 99% of the time, I sit here helping you with your work. So why for that one session you can't just stop and help me? That's what you're hired to do. You are supposed to be a virtual assistant. If you don't know how to be a virtual assistant, then maybe this isn't the right job for you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I shouldn't have to be sitting here training you on how to be a virtual assistant. Like we should be able to hire people who can do this work. Like maybe our focus should be on recruitment. Like I don't know. It's just like you come to the session and you help me do my work for that one session. 99 out of 100 sessions, I'm helping you do your work. And then finally we schedule a VA session, and at that session, if I'm just helping you do your work like today, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, sure. And Jay, when does it get to my self-driven responsibility in the VA session?
That's a great question.
Which
You
scenario? Yeah,
try to ask the answer.
scenario. Yeah.
Lucy, do you want to try to answer? So the question is, when do we get to the self-driven responsibility work during the VA session?
When the executive is working on something that you don't understand, you cannot sit around without doing anything. So you will focus on your self-driven. That means you will not disturb the executive to ask question why I don't know this and this. Something that you can know at that time, you can do it, focus on during
And
that particular time.
And does that happen every single VA session?
No.
No. So it could happen at any time during any VA session. So it could be at the beginning of the session. It could be in the middle of the session. It could be at the end of the session. It could not be in the session at all. Does that make sense, or is that confusing, Jeremy?
Yeah, please expound.
You just don't understand.
You don't understand.
I get it.
Let's try to
But,
give an example. Like if you go to the grocery store, right? You could buy some candy. Are you required to buy a candy? Yes or no?
No.
No, you're not required to buy candy, but you can. And do you have to buy candy the very first thing that you buy at the store when you very
Going
first?
to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take for 6 minutes.
Do you have to buy candy the very first thing that you buy when you go in the grocery store?
No.
No. Okay. Do you have to buy at the very last thing that you do in the grocery store? Sometimes, but not always. You don't have to, right? And then you don't have to do it in the middle either. And you don't actually have to buy candy, but you're prepared to buy candy. You know, you can buy candy. Someone asked you to buy candy, like before you went to the store, your kids or someone was like, you know, I'd really like to get candy and have candy. And so you're like, okay, well, maybe I might buy candy, but do I have to? No. I'm prepared to buy candy. I could buy candy at the beginning. I could buy candy at the end. I could buy candy in the middle and put it in my cart or my basket, but I don't have to. I'm not required to buy candy. And if I'm with someone else there, then maybe the two of you are getting into agreement of whether candy will be bought. And maybe you don't agree to buy the candy, or maybe you do agree to buy the candy. The point is that it's just not required. Like when you go to the
I was about to ask
grocery store,
that.
you buy candy, but you're not forced to buy candy. And that maybe some of the times you buy candy, but other times you don't. Like it's just the whole idea that as soon as you have a self-driven responsibility, all you think of is yourself. That's the whole problem here, is that everyone just thinks about themselves and what they're going to do. So you force yourself to think that when you come to the session, you put all this effort into getting your self-driven responsibility organized. So then you have to force being working on it. And you need to know when you're supposed to work on it and everything. It's exactly the opposite. You come to the session with self-driven responsibility so that you can come at all, and that you are organized and prepared for the session. But during the session, the self-driven responsibility might not even come up, or it might come up at the beginning, or it might come up at the end, or it might come at the middle, or again, it just might not come up at all. I don't see why that's so hard to understand.
Okay, so Jay, suppose
For me, the only reason why it's hard to understand that is because you can't stop thinking about yourself. Right? It's just you have to think about yourself and you can't stop. It's always about yourself, about what you're going to do. And you need to stop thinking about what you want and what you need and what you have to do for this one session so that the executive can get some work done. You get it or not?
so suppose uh, these these uh, these self-driven responsibilities never occur. Does these detailed descriptions still apply?
How can self-driven never occur, Jiren?
It
How?
might not occur during a VA session. You can have a VA session and not have any self-driven work needed at that time because we work together.
Yeah. So
But you are still required to have them.
Yes, you're still required to have your self-driven responsibility ready to go, just in case. Does that make sense?
okay. Yeah.
Like it's
Good.
like when you go and like let's say I'm setting up a concert, right? And we're gonna have 100 people at a concert, and there's gonna be a band that's gonna play. We're required to have an ambulance ready.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have an ambulance in case there's an emergency or something happens, but you hope it never gets used. And maybe someone needs it at the beginning of the concert, or maybe at the end of the concert, maybe in the middle of the concert, or maybe after the concert. But the point is that it's just like you just have it there just in case so that you're prepared in case someone gets hurt. Right? It's
Yeah.
not something that you're forced to use. You don't have to take someone to the hospital unless there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Right?
And
So
I'm wondering why the rhythm is not guiding on break. I think I have a fake
It's
rhythm.
already saying break. It's just that you guys are
When
not listening.
it said,
Yes.
okay, so I don't know. So we can go for break.
Are you clear now? So we come after break, we
I just
Yeah,
focus
yeah,
on.
feel like
I'm clear. Maybe
feel like
Jay has something.
it's over. I just feel like the session is pretty much over and that it's just like, you know, I just don't know. It's like it's either you get it or you don't get it. I don't know why it's taking over an hour to understand this, but I don't know. I mean, for me, it feels like this is more important than a break because we just need to get this done with, and hopefully it'll never happen again because this is just a waste of an entire session.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing.
Well, it's not embarrassing. It's just like this isn't the first time this happens, right? You have not been able to do a VA session in 3 months. Martines have not been able to do a VA session in 6 months. Sandra can barely ever do a VA session. I think she's done one in a year, right? And then you have Kaiser never able to do a VA session. Cosmos never able to do a VA session. So it's just like it's like our training is off, like something's not right. I think you guys think that everything is 100 times more complicated than it is. It's like I don't know why we can't seem to train you guys on how to do something so simple as a VA session, like which is literally what you're hired to do. You're hired as a virtual assistant to do real-time VA sessions. That is literally the reason why we hired you, and then you guys can't do it. And it's there's fix that. I don't care if we spend the next 6 hours fixing that and doing a video for it and doing a training or whatever we freaking need to do.
Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
Because it's so frustrating that we've been dealing with this for years and years and years. Like it makes no sense that people can't do a VA session when that's literally what we're hiring them to do. Right? So I don't care if we spend 6 hours on this and don't do any breaks. If we can solve this problem, it is much more helpful than any one VA session. Because it is a major problem and it's an ongoing problem day after day after day, month after month after month, because we don't do the RTVA, we don't do the VA sessions, we don't actually meet the goals, which is why our budget is collapsing and why we're not getting any work done. Do you get it or not? Like this is for me, this is extremely important.
Guys, can you allow me to take some water?
Sure, you can take some water, whatever you need to do.
Okay, thank you.
Let's just take a break or whatever, but hopefully we can get this all figured out when we come back.
All right. I'm back.
Stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
I'm back. So Jeremy, do you understand now? Can about the policy for real time? If you can train a new person,
Yeah, sure.
can you summarize it, please? Just a quick summary, not
Yeah.
explaining, bro. Just summarize
So yeah. So on
within
real
five
quick.
seconds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On real quick is that I'll tell a new worker when you're going to a VA session, you must agree with the executive. I mean, you must have knowledge, and the executive must agree what.
Knowledge. Where is knowledge?
I mean, you must.
What's
You
the
told
first?
me,
What's the goal? What's the goal? You always start with the goal. This is you training a new person. What's the
yeah.
goal?
Okay, I can start anywhere as long as I do.
No,
Okay.
no, you don't start anywhere.
The goal is to help the executive get their work done successfully,
Mm-hmm.
and this
The
comes
first
hand in.
policy.
Hmm? So
Then
the
the
first
first policy.
policy is the VA session must be scheduled with a clear focus on the work. I
Mm-hmm.
mean to work on together.
Mm-hmm.
Then also the VA worker, as the worker, you must have self-driven responsibility
Why is
ready
having
for this session,
self-driven?
so that um, in case, just like we said, in case it's needed during the session.
In case is needed, how?
Uh, no, instead of just maybe the executive is focused on the work instead of you just sitting around wasting time. You can just focus on self-driven responsibility as you await maybe any further direction from the executive.
Well, it's good.
Okay, I think you can. You are
Time
getting
to
now.
pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Think that is clear. And always remember, and it's not that when you have the self-driven, you are going to focus on that. No, the goal is to help the executive.
Okay.
I think it's getting now, Jim. Can we move forward? Move to the next topic.
Um, a new topic.
Yeah.
I would say like a couple things here that would be good is to get our indexing organized, and then also, for example, the best thing moving forward, like if you're getting ready for a VA session, what is the number one best way to prepare for a VA session?
The number one thing always you have to propose the make a proposal, then have an agreement with the executive.
No, so what's the
And
best way? So let's say you're want to do a VA session and you have, new potential workers and all that stuff who are interested in doing VA work and everything. What is the best way to prepare? Do you just communicate on Discord?
you make sure you ask the question, communicate on Discord,
Okay, but
and
that's not my
ask
question. My question
people.
is, what is one way you can communicate? Yes, you can communicate in Discord, but what is the best way to prepare? The number one possible best way to prepare for the session to make sure that there are no problems that occur during the VA session. What is the best way to prepare for a new worker?
To train them on time.
Okay, but where does that happen?
During the main sessions. It can be either
No.
during the main session or schedule
Yes,
with
schedule.
them
You just
before the main.
schedule and prioritize at a main session. You can schedule and prioritize at a buddy team session. But the number one best way to prepare and make sure you have everything organized is to schedule and prioritize before the VA session and verify that everything is ready and good to go and understood. Does that make sense, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Time to stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
So if you are going to do a session with a VA, right, with the executive, and you want to make sure everything is organized and prepared for that session, what are you going to tell the new worker to do? The best possible scenario.
You prepare new worker in advance by asking them what they are going to work on, so that you
Okay.
have the clear.
Let's go over. What is the number one best way to do it to make sure to avoid as many problems as possible?
You schedule with them one time.
Schedule and prioritize. Yes. So you just ask them to schedule in advance and to prioritize. All right. So from here, I think indexing is very important, and I think that I would say that we might want to review the policy in relationship to the HR human values change, and reconsider that again as well, because that's also another way of addressing this particular situation.
Okay.
So those would be my recommendations. So we could do the summary and the actual like indexing. For this particular topic 0, right? So do you guys understand what indexing is and why it's important and what it means?
For me, no. I think I've heard it before, and but I really want to. what is all about.
So we now have an hour-and-a-half video, right? We're recording this, right, Lucy?
Yeah, it's live.
So we have an hour-and-a-half video talking about all the detailed issues regarding VA session preparation. So we have many other videos for VA work. So we would want to index this video along with all the other videos for VA training and make sure they're all accessible and available for all workers.
Why should we index this? We index it on these documents. Real-time virtual assistant work policy.
I don't know. That's the whole point of indexing, is making sure the information is properly indexed in the right location so that everybody has access to the information. That's the whole point of indexing. Right? So I would recommend that maybe we should do indexing. So if let's say you had a worker who says, quote, I would like to get training on VA sessions and maybe, you know, RTVA sessions, right? What would we send them?
We got the videos for RTVA session. RTVA.
Right, so let me say again. So if we have a question from a new worker that says, I would like to get training on VA sessions, what do we do?
We give them the videos on RTVA session.
So what is that?
That means
Time.
we give them
Please stop
their
and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So what is what's going on here?
I say we give them the link of about
Okay, so how do we,
responsibility organizing.
okay, so
Then
how
they
do we
will
do
get
that?
their video there.
And then we would want to index the video there. So where do we do that?
We will put the video on the responsibility organizing.
Okay, but where's the link to the responsibility organizing? Someone just asked, I would like to get training on VA sessions. Where do we send them?
Responsibility organizer.
Okay, so where is it? So let's just practice. Jeremy, can you ask for the link to the VA training?
Yes, it is
Okay.
here.
I would like to get the link to the VA training.
Okay, so then what do we do?
So at Lucy, I would like to get the
It is
link.
on line 10, topic 0.
Line. All right, so let's take a look. No, this is the link that I already got. This is very, very old. These
No,
are just
this
the
is
policies.
you have word. You have the this is on
Which line? It's, this one says real-time session policy spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So
so
I
do
mean, it doesn't
you
look like we're very organized, right? So
it
we're looking
oh, I
for
was
either
copied the wrong one. Just a minute.
we're looking for either the VA training
It's on
uh,
line 18.
spreadsheet,
On line 18.
RTVA process communication training spreadsheet. Okay. So here, so this would be RTVA training. So, but we're looking for VA training. So let's see.
I don't see a VA
Time
training.
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So for me, RTVA and VA is different, and RTVA VA is included in RTVA. So the question is, where does the VA fit into RTVA? And I don't see anything here.
There is no responsibility training for VA. Usually use the
Sure
same for
there is.
RTV.
I'm sure there is. We just need to find it, right? So let's just keep looking and see if we can find something. So let's start with stage 5 training, or maybe it's stage 6 now. So stage 6 includes mini training on responsibilities for recruitment, work organizing vocabulary, getting organized, length of next steps, making goals, check-ins and reporting, introduction to main session, session policies, task training organizing, responsibility training organizing, admin worker organizing, RTVA process introduction, Levens of badges verification. So let's check out number 9. What it says on RTVA introduction. I don't see anything here. So this still needs to be worked on more. But I would say that the introduction of RTVA, maybe this should be part of VA.
We have training 6 virtual assistant VA work. Introduction to work. Virtual assistant work relay time schedule.
Where is that?
It's on this one. Let me put it on our notes. Maybe it's the same down where you are reading. You can check. Online 22.
So this says stage 6. So this would be stage 7 now. So virtual assistant VA work, introduction to VA work. Okay, this is it. Okay. So this
Okay.
is what we're looking for. So this might be stage 7 now. So let's do a search for stage 7. Stage 3, stage 6. Don't see anything for stage 7. So I think the general idea here is that
Stage
you would
7.
start your
Stage 7 is here. Training 7 is team scheduling for VA.
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
Well, that's just training number 7. Yeah. So I mean, I think overall, the general concept here is that In our model, you do the initial introductory training for stage, this is going to be stage 7, I believe. General training, core team general training process. Stage 5, support mini training, Google Docs, responsible organizing, advanced getting organized, self-doing work. Buddy team session policies, virtual assistant policies, virtual executive assistant policies, live buddy team session practice. So for me, this is, I think, more of like our next level training that you would do after you do your initial introduction. Also, it just says as part of the core team general responsibilities. So maybe this is part of stage 6 for core team general responsibilities. That's done as a separate parallel training. Whatever we want to do, we need to make sure it's organized and functional within our training, but we never prioritize training, right? So, which is why no one ever gets, their normal 100% budget. So, but anyways, I think this is definitely where we currently have our VA training, right? So I don't know if this is necessarily the right place for it, but this is where we would want to index the video. So we would go in and we'd find the video for this particular session, and we would put the video under setup.
Okay.
And you would put it right here when we have the link, and then we can go ahead and link that into this particular section for VA work and how VA work is supposed to work as a as a raw video, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually what we want to do is we want to do a summary or official video, training video, which we don't have, right? None exist. So that's what we need to do is we need to create an official training video for VA work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now look, it says right here, link to training video on VA. So it looks like we do have one.
Okay.
Look, so this was done on February 4th, 2019. We've been having problems on this since before 2019, and it's 2025. Right? And no one seems to want to do anything about it, and it makes no sense. So now either we need to do something about this, or people just aren't going to get paid, right? So with our new model for Co-op 2.0, this is no longer acceptable. So people want to continue doing this. Since 2019, we've been having problems with this, and no one gave a single crapola to actually fix the problem. And we just kept paying people probably we paid over $70,000